Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report is brought to you by TNC Network. Get ready for an exciting episode of People of Pickleball with Mike Sliwa. We're about to dive deep into conversations with influential figures from the world of pickleball. So let's get it going.
Today we talk with the owner of R.A.W, Rain and Wind Pickleball Paddles, Gregory Storm. But before we get to that, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out all the links for the descriptions below, and also the discount code for R.A.W, Rain and Wind Paddles, 10% off, RAIN10 discount code below, plus a bunch of other codes for shoes, other paddles, you name it. Take a look, subscribe to that newsletter, get your fix of all things pickleball. All right, hey, let's get that interview with Gregory Storm of Rain and Wind. Right, from R.A.W, Rain and Wind Pickleball, Gregory Storm, welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report.
What's up? New Mexico, Florida.
He's got maps of the world and the U.S. behind him.
Everywhere we're putting our brand, brother.
He's a traveler.
So,
your video was one of the more, I guess, entertaining ones to do because we have a little bit in common with the pollinator bringing awareness to what's going on, obviously, in the world with pollination, global warming, affecting pollination as well, and bees. And I have a friend who was part of the pollinator program about 2 or 3 years ago, and he wrote a song called Pollen, and his band is called Pound of Quicksand, and they're out of the Bay Area. And then we started talking, and I saw that you were doing the same thing. And obviously you have the pollination kind of brand going for your paddles, and it's beautiful, and you're bringing awareness. So before we get into any of that, because you started a pickleball company, how did you get into this goofy game?
Man, who wants to do pickleball? I don't know what's going on, right?
Exactly.
Tell you what, I Lauderdale for a long time, and I moved over to Naples, and I just figured, hey, study some massage or something and hang out in Naples, but absolutely nothing to do in Naples. Still nothing to do there except for pickleball. So anybody thinking about going to Naples, you better be 70 and older. But anyways, yeah. So, I kind of introduced pickleball in Rochester, New York for my parents, and went back to Naples, just visiting home, and then a guy had a pickleball shirt on. I was looking for it. I was like, I haven't seen any pickleball here anywhere. Where's it at? And he says, well, it's right down the street. I said, no, I looked, but sure enough, showed up, and there they were. So that's 11 years ago, 10 years ago.
Wow. You're an OG, man.
And then I met Kyle Yates and Barry Waddell and his family and in Fort Myers. And that's where it really took off for me as far as playing pickleball. So I guess I'm a little bit of an OG.
Yeah, man. You're playing with the OGs too. I mean, Barry's no joke.
Don't lob him. He gets mad.
I'm sure, man. Cool. Yeah. I mean, so that's obviously, you're way, way before any of the madness starts. You're playing a game that, I had heard of because my wife taught PE, and she was trying to get kids to like move and not hit a ball over a fence that had some pressure in it. So she's like, let's try this sport, and mentioned it to me in passing, and I just kind of let it go. But you're starting way back, really, and then to kind of move forward and create a business out of that. What kind of drives that? Where does that idea come into play?
I think just watching it grow in Naples. I mean, it really that facility wasn't even there when I was there. So to watch that grow from a skate park with a 16-foot half pipe on it, and it's kind of, a little bit disheartening because I'm a skater,
Sure.
but,
skate or die, man.
Yeah. So that's right. But it's just, now there's 56 courts there at the US Open. I mean,
yeah, right.
So I played, I think, the first, the third, and then, I work with adaptive wheelchair pickleball as well too. So that was a big thing for me there. I really enjoy that. It's a big thing to give back. I'm a give backer guy, and when it first started off, a lot of these tournaments did that, and I really like that concept,
Right.
Don't see it so much. Seems like a big money grab these days, You
it
see
does,
the controversy with MLP and PPA. It's just, I never see anything like it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, being sponsored by Gearbox and Selkirk and these different brands, after a while, it's like, okay, why can't I just do something and, find a good manufacturer, which kind of happened, which was really nice, So, I don't know. It just happened, and I wanted to give back with the brand. So I thought, why not? I got super crazy allergies and they suck really bad, and so, I've always been a big supporter of local honey and that kind of helps out, so just tied the bee kind of thing into it's a raw carbon fiber. I mean, that's pretty important. We do the T700, which is definitely the top carbon fiber. We don't want to cheapen the brand, by any means. We want to stay a higher level brand as far as the carbon fiber. I know there's a lot of tech coming in with Kevlar and, all these different things. Right. But, not totally excited about that sandwiching. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's cool. I don't know. I mean, everyone thinks they need power, right? They need thermoform. They need Gen 2 paddles. So we created a Gen 2 paddle. Why not, And guess what? I like playing with it, but you really need to you got to control that type of paddle. So but definitely. Again, giving back to local honeybee farmers wherever we have brand ambassadors, including Maui, Hawaii, and the Big Island. We're pretty excited about it, and again, it's just a give back. Same thing with my tournaments. When I'm running tournaments, we give back to NAMI, which is mental health, which is another give back thing. So I'd like to see a ton more of that coming back from different pickleball entrepreneurs. That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what makes you an OG a little bit, because you saw some of this in the beginning of what it was and how it was built and how community was brought in, and not just, hanging out and meeting people, but literally like engaging in the community and like what's going on. What can we all do to raise either awareness and money or both, and still do something fun and pretty cool? And obviously, you're doing, the pollination, and you talked about Maui, and you got a paddle that's, built for that particular cause and things like that. And it's gorgeous paddle. I mean, look at that thing.
So sexy. This is a new thermoform. It's not out yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful paddle. It's thermoform. And you made a great point. If we go back to thermoforming a little bit, because I play with a bunch of folks who, like me, have been playing, a couple years tops. And, we talk about paddles a lot because I do reviews, and they talk about like, well, what's the latest and greatest thing out? And I'm like, well, it's one of those things, I don't know if not everybody should be playing with a raw carbon thermoform paddle, because if you want to keep the ball in play, some of us don't have the talent level quite yet to be playing with a Ferrari. And maybe we should be playing with a Ford F-150 or something that's a little more, I guess, reasonable for keeping the ball in play. So maybe talk a little bit about that, because you're in the industry. And you're the first paddle manufacturer that's actually been willing to come on. Most of them are a little shy. So let's talk about like what's coming and what's here already, and kind of this more, faster, harder attitude. And because it seems to me there's a wide variety of different playing styles out there. And right now the hot setup is obviously thermoform, raw carbon, sort of the longer handle, elongated shape. So talk about what your feelings are about kind of like what's out there, what's available, and what you kind of hope to see.
So, I mean, again, for me coming into it, being sponsored by big companies, they don't really give you back a lot. I don't know, unless you're one of the top players. Everybody thinks they're sponsored. They get 2 free paddles, a hat, and a shirt, and they're sponsored by Selkirk or Yellow. I'm sponsored, but I signed a contract, and I'm sorry, I can't touch your paddle. I'm like, guys, there's so many paddles out there that no one really cares anymore. If they're going to get mad at you for selling one of the demo paddles they gave you, then I'd say goodbye really quick.
Yeah. Right.
And that happens. You know what I mean? So,
sure.
But the juniors coming in, stuff like that, I love seeing those guys come in because we did focus on building longer handles and longer paddle faces for tennis players that are coming in, because we all know that the Jack Sox are coming, all these players are coming in from tennis, so we're really after those tennis players coming in that like to do a two-hand backhand. I teach my students all the time that, hey, we got more reach up at the kitchen. Why not cheat and get that reach? You know what I mean? With that long
for sure.
extension, I could never go back to a wider paddle face. I remember, I think when I first started playing, it was I was with Manta Sports or something. Manta's a brand, and they had the Bigfoot paddle. It was this wide, or like a Coach Mo paddle.
Like a billboard.
Yeah. So, and the handle's this big, right? It's real short. It's a little nub, right? So, why can't you make those paddles? People ask. I'm like, well, that's not our brand, Yeah. So, So the future is definitely tennis players coming in the game and looking for a strong paddle, but even a touch paddle to slow their tennis game down a little bit. As far as they don't need that power because they can generate it themselves. We have some pros that are testing our paddles right now. Do I need a pro out there? Sure. Who doesn't love to have a pro, and sell the $250 paddle because there's a name on it.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, let's talk about an approach like that, because obviously I do reviews for, there's enough people out there already reviewing Selkirk and Yola, and
they may get a dime too. I don't know. What do you think?
My guess is correct.
Maybe a dime.
And there's hundreds and hundreds of paddle manufacturers, and they're pretty good. They're good paddles. I mean, they're as good as anything that I've hit that's a Selkirk, or anything that I've hit is a Yola. And I've talked to a bunch of guys and gals that are getting started in it, like yourself, over the phone, although you're the first one to come on. So that's fantastic, and I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, it's an interesting approach, because some of them are like, do I go after do I get the names? Do I get the pros? Do I sign pros? And that's the approach that I take. There are other approaches that I've seen where people are just out there and they're hustling. They're at tournaments. They're giving paddles away. They're talking to folks. And then there's others who are doing a lot of social media stuff. A lot of, every day there's stuff that they're posting. And then there's a combination of those things. When you started to think about this in real terms of okay, I'm going to put something together. I'm going to develop a paddle. I'm going to develop a company and a brand. What were you thinking? Were you thinking, God, I got to, I know some pros. Am I going to sign these guys? And what was your kind of thought process?
Yeah, it's that thought's always there, to have the pro on board, right? But then it comes down to, well, what paddle are they going to like? And, am I going to have to keep on submitting different paddle shapes to USAPA, which can get very costly, very costly. So, how does that all come into play? Then you've got to pay the pro to go out on tour. Well, are they really pro, or are they just a 5-0 wanting to be pro? How many people do we know out there that are those guys? And they're just not going to make it past 5-0. They can go play all the open events they want, but they're just getting destroyed. So I mean, I want, just a strong singles lady partner or a player, or, whoever it is. Again, we have got some paddles out there that some pros are testing. We have a lady that's number one in the world on the APP circuit right now. She's testing some of our paddles, and if she likes it, I don't mind throwing a few dollars out there, but again, we're organic, we're local. Same thing like your CBD company. That's really cool. Rob, shout out, I love those guys. So, so I just really, I think for us to stay local and spread organically is what I'm after. I don't need to spend a lot of money in marketing because we're not Selkirk or, again, Yola or any of these big companies that can do that, right? So, we'll offer paddles to strong players, but, they can have whatever they want from us. But again, to pay them to run on a circuit, that's that's MLP's job and PPA. They can pay the $5 million now in the current Porto. Ogden's own Ogden, Utah, right? So that's the town, right? Yeah.
Are you a pickleball enthusiast over the age of 50? Check out Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report, a YouTube channel dedicated to providing the latest news and updates on the sport. Get the scoop on the newest trends, the latest equipment, and the best strategies for success. Make sure you're on top of the game and stay informed with the Senior Pickleball Report.
Love it.
Yeah, dude.
No, man. I mean, it's definitely key. I'm glad you got my paddle. I'll send you one of the Aloha paddles, and you can.
I was in Maui right a year before it happened, so only time I've ever been there, and I'm so glad you're doing that because. Well,
we were just about to I was just going to do a tournament at the end of the last month, and then those fires came.
Yeah.
So I was going to do that with Maui Pickleball over there, and we were going to set up to go, and we were like, we better hold off on this one, man, because Lahaina's done, So
brutal.
Yeah. So now we're going to have to maybe reschedule the Pacific Rim or do something around that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those courts are nice. The Wailea courts are pretty nice there. So, and then we have one court up in the mountains, which she was in touch. Lori Lonnie's court there. She's a big supporter of us and sells our paddles and stuff. So she's got one court, but you get to drive 40 minutes from. It's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Very cool, I think.
Yeah. And she's just another big give backer, supporter, artist type person. So
and again, small, and it's you get invited there. You get to hang with some cool people because not everybody knows about it or gets invited. So
it's usually the Owen Wilsons and stuff go up there and play. Whoever
is put a ball right in Owen's Adam's apple, wake him up a little.
Fix his nose up a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. So before I get you out of here, just love to get because obviously you've been around the game a long time, played with a lot of high end players, know a lot of people. Talking about the pro scene a little bit, and obviously the tumultuous last month and a half here with MLP, PPA, and always forgotten APP. Give me some thoughts, man. Give me some hot takes. What's going on? Where's it going? What do you like? What don't you like?
Man, that's crazy right now because we have a local owner here what's really confusing to me right now is, we've got a local team here that's out on the MLP Florida Smash.
Yeah.
And I just was trying to figure out what was going on in Atlanta and why Travis Rettenmeyer was playing for a different team, but owns Florida Smash. So I'm so confused. Very confusing. Like what happens
when confusing
times
here, Gregory?
What happens when those guys start playing with a Crown pickleball, man? Kevin Perkins' ball is amazing right now.
Yeah. And by the way, you get some balls with the paddle, right? With the ball.
Oh yeah. For every paddle that we sell, Kevin Perkins, Crown pickleball. His balls are like really cheesy and stinky, but it's a ball that's in between Dura and Franklin, and that thing's solid. Cool. You need to get some else from him. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
he's out of stock. Coming in stock soon.
I've heard really good things about that ball. So
yeah, Tyler Loong's a big advocate. Jim over there and Tyler, those guys are big advocates of it. Anyways, I didn't understand that. I don't know how that works. How you can?
I don't know how that works either. Conflict of interest, I guess. Well, I don't know. Is betting come to MLP yet? Because that would be an interesting.
Well, yeah, that could work out in itself. Maybe you have to make more money getting paid on their team to pay your other.
Yeah. Hey, what's the purse?
Right. You got to maybe play for this team and get paid for that team so you can pay for your other player that's on your team.
Right.
Very strange. I don't know. It's funny to again watch, just explode within 1 or 2 years, and all of a sudden there's a team that's owned by some local people here. It's like, okay, well, who's got the money and who doesn't have the money? Who's paying these contracts is what I'd like to know.
Yeah, that's a great point because obviously, it became the bidding war, and then the bidding war ended because they just use merge again in quotes.
Of course.
And then are they going to honor those contracts? Who got the contracts that are lower because they signed first? Blah, blah, blah. Is some tennis player that's never played getting a really high contract as opposed to some veteran? And how does that work out? Here's my point. And I don't know where you are in this world, but like at some point, in order to maybe put a little bit of, I guess, have a little bit less whiplash if you're a player, at some point, are these players going to organize?
I'm dropping out and doing all small local tournaments and supporting local tournaments, man. I don't care about the big circuit anymore. Maybe an APP once in a while. Yeah. I'm done with PPA. Medissa Leaf was a huge supporter of those guys for a long time. I don't know. I think they're called, Aloe now or something like that. But again, I'd rather support like Raw, if they're going to be into pickleball against smaller companies. I'm also all about supporting local and smaller events. I'm not going to feed any money into these big organizations anymore. I just don't think it's worth it. You know what I mean? Just to say I got the $5 medal or whatever, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And I'm not even playing the pro part of it, right? Because I'm going to get smashed, right? So and the
amateur, I've not heard great things out of the amateur end, specifically for the PPA.
I mean, I started when that PPA just came out, so the tournaments were a little different. Now it's like, whoa, what the heck's going on? So I just, I don't even bother anymore. The travel expenses and all that just adds up so much. I mean, if I'm going to Red Rock, I love that one. I'm going hiking. I'm doing Mount Zion. I'm doing a bunch of different stuff. I'm mountain biking. You know what I mean? If I got things that I'm planning around the events, no problem, but I don't know how some of these players survive, out there right now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I remember.
I think at some point you have to have enough disposable income to pull this off. You have to be in a particular tax bracket or have somebody, mom and dad sponsoring you, whatever it is, but because unless you get a contract,
you already hit it on the head right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And it really limits the talent field in a lot of ways, because, only a particular tax bracket starts to play the game, which sounds familiar, but
homeschool.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember Jack Monroe. He was homeschooled for a long time so he could go play pickleball when he was little. Now he's coming back into the scene. I know a lot of these players. It's funny, but I'm 52 now, right? So now I gotta try out for the NPL. Rick's sister kept on saying, "Why don't you just do it? Go."
I'm gonna go to the combine and get my ass kicked. So I'll be there. You can peg me a couple times.
Just gotta get hyped up like the blind box, and get crazy,
That's right. I'm a lefty. I can play right side.
Yeah.
Right. You just take all the balls. I'll take the ones that go over here.
So what do you think about the MLP and the PPA as far as the scoring format and all that kind of stuff,
it's, I came from beach volleyball. So I played, when the big switch happened from going from side out scoring until rally, I had been playing volleyball already about 12, 15 years, since the mid 80s. And it happened in the early 2000s. And they changed everything. They changed the court size for doubles. They changed the ball. They took antennas off, or they put antennas on for doubles. And they changed the size of the court. So everything happened at once. At the end of the day, the same people were still winning. So after all sort of the, hair pulling and hand wringing, at the end of the day, I was still beating the same people and the same people were still beating me. And it really came down to, like everybody wants to know, television. Can you predict the timeouts? Can you, which rally scoring? You kind of know the length of the game. I would prefer, for the few tournaments that I played in pickleball, to go to a tournament that is rally scoring, because I know I'm not going to sit 3 hours and wait for some match that just keeps going on and on and on. I think it would keep it tighter.
Yeah.
And that I like. Is it as entertaining as a player? Probably not overall. I don't know. But at the same time, every point matters then too. You can't miss drops, man.
Yeah. So having that being said, there's two things there, right? So you just mentioned viewership.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have viewership, what happens?
Well, you don't have pro.
You don't have money, right?
Yeah.
Why bother doing it?
Right.
Okay. So what do most pickleball players do right now? Do they watch that? Would they go and watch the MLP, or would they want to go play on a Saturday and a Sunday?
They'd rather play.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I see.
I see that too.
Yeah. I mean, and
most people don't even know there's pro pickleball that are playing.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, again, it's like the majority of the boom of pickleball growth and explosion is people playing the sport. It's not them watching the MLP in Atlanta or at Las Vegas or whatever it is, right? I mean, how many times can you watch Ben Johns play the same people or, the same thing, right? For me, it's okay. Yeah, I'll tune in once in a while. Sure. But after an hour, I'm bored, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
I'm not going to keep watching, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think the viewership is if they don't have that viewership, I don't know how that lasts, I
don't either. And I think you make a great point. At the end of the day, pickleball is going to be around whether there's a pro game or not. Yeah. It was here obviously before the pro game. It'll be here after because a great majority of us aren't concerned with it. And as my saying that I've been saying over the last decade, and it's now sort of applying to professional pickleball, is everything is dumb. That's where we are. Everything is really dumb right now.
Yeah. You
got a bunch of celebrities and billionaires throwing money at something that barely anybody's watching.
They're rolling dice, man.
Yeah. Just look at the streaming numbers. You go, oh, there's 4,000 people watching this on YouTube.
Yeah, they're rolling dice. Most of the investors are dice rollers.
Yeah.
So they can pitch dice. You know what I mean? They're used to that game. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's players playing pickleball, wanting to play pickleball. I mean, and, what are they getting when they go to these tournaments, and stuff like that? If they're playing a PPA tournament or an APP tournament, APP's been pretty decent, I think, and they're just sleepers, so I think they may, again, I've heard this and, I think they might prevail a little bit better than, on a bigger circuit.
Yeah. And they're going international. So,
yeah. I mean, same with us. You know what I mean? We're in London and Italy right now. So, I mean, I love having a brand, Australia. Yeah. It's cool to move around a little bit, and watch the game grow. But that's my thoughts on MLP and PPA, not much.
Yeah, that's all right, man. That's okay. Well, hey, dude, I don't take up any more of your time. And people can find all the links in the description about some of the things we talked about, and including obviously the paddles, the discounts, where the money's going, and a couple of shout outs, Raw as well. I'm glad you guys are hooking up because those are two of my favorite people. So I think you guys could do some really cool things together if you choose to do so. So absolutely.
All right,
yeah. All right, Gregory Storm. Hey, Raw, Rain, and Win. Check out all the stuff below. Go find them on all their socials, and fantastic paddle. Really cool dude. Fun company. Thanks for your time, man. Yeah. Get that Maui paddle. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Gregory. Hey, get out there. Check out the links in the description. Get that discount for Raw, Rain, and Win paddles down below. And hey, let's pickle.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money. A Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.